101.9 megahertz of life.
Good evening and welcome to the ORT Jet Business Show. I'm David Zeidel, and today we've got a special edition for you. It's all about twins tonight. You've heard about twins. You're getting two for the price of one in many different ways. If you're not sure how the program works, I take you through a little bit of a business story to start off with, and then we speak to people who are in business, and we hear their stories, and we hear from them, what did they do? How did they learn? What did they do right? What did they do wrong? And how do you learn from what they've done and make a success of your business? So when I say it's about twins today, the first twin we're talking about is like the twin savers or the Gillette twin savers, which are razor blades. There's an unbelievable story about an organization that was called the Dollar Shave Club. They took a business concept and changed it on its head. The story is like this. Gillette had ruled the razor industry for over 100 years. They had, in any business terms, total dominance. They had like 70% of the market share, and that related to billions of dollars. Not millions, billions. Just to explain the difference between a million and a billion, it's 1,000 times more. If I said to you I was going to pay you R1 every single second, do you know that it would only take you 11 and a half days and you'd have R1,000,000? If you can find a way of earning R1 every single second, it'll only take you 11 and a half days to get there. But if I continued paying you R1 every single second, do you know that it would take 37 years to get to $1 billion? That's the difference. $1 billion and $1 million are different generations. So this industry was $1 billion industry, and Gillette owned 70% of it. And if you're that powerful and that strong, really no one can really come and fight with you, or could they? And what happened was this business changed the business model, because Gillette, their business model and how they made money was they made razors very, very expensive and hard to get. So that's what we call the moat. It's difficult to get in, and they made all the money from it. Two guys, Michael Dubin and Mark Levine, they met at a party. They happened to talk about the cost of razors, and they thought, no, this is ridiculous. Let us try something else. And they created a little movie, a fun movie. It created an essence of fun, and they started promoting a different business model. Their business model was a subscription-based model. You subscribe to buy razor blades. Well, how does that work? You pay, and it's called the Dollar Razor Club because it was $1. If you paid the $1, you didn't get the free shipping, but really there were other subscription models. They used $6, $9, and every whatever the period was, you would get a razor sent to you. You didn't have to go out to buy it. You didn't have to remember to get it. It was sent to you. They changed the model, and at the cheapest price, all it cost you was $1 and then the shipping. And what happened is they added to that. They sent the stuff in packaging, but then they added to the packaging. They made it fun. They had a magazine they used to send with it called Bathroom Minutes. Just little cartoons, little jokes that kind of got you excited to receive your razor, because you're not just getting your razor, you're getting this free cartoon magazine, let's call it that. And then as it started growing, they added other things. They then added shaving cream and hair products and skincare products. And the business started to grow and grow and grow because they were selling related products to their existing database. So this was the end of what had happened. And here's the story. They started in 2011. By the end of the first year, they'd managed to get 200,000 people that had joined. By 2016, they had 3.2 million subscribers. Now remember, it's 3.2 million subscribers paying at least $1 every single month. They found out, although you could cancel at any time, 90% of their customers stayed loyal to them. That's what we call in business the stickability. People stuck with them. The revenue went up to $240 million annually. And Gillette, who thought they owned the market, was now petrified of them. They tried everything to stop this bleeding. They started creating their own club, the subscription club, but it was too late because somebody else had already captured that market. They started reducing their prices, and in fact, the value of the whole of Gillette dropped in that period by $8 billion. In 2016, Unilever bought the Dollar Shave Club, listen to this, for $1 billion US. A comedian with zero business experience had created a business in just 5 or 6 years worth $1 billion. That's what we call a unicorn, a business that you can sell for $1 billion. And it's called a unicorn because it's mythical. It seems impossible to do. So the lesson behind this is, can you look at something that's happening and change the business model? Can you look at it and say, let's not just do it the same way that we've always been doing it or that others have been doing it. I do a little bit of consulting for businesses, and when I ask people, why do you do things like this? My worst answer is, we do it like this because that's the way we've always done it. The world has changed. Things are changing. There's no, let's just carry on doing it the way we've always done it, because that won't get you to your new destination. So tonight we're looking at business models. How do you change your business model? And a little story related to that, a personal story, is I'm the author of 2 business books. The first book was published by Penguin Books. The second book was self-published. These are 2 books by the same author, complete different business models. What do I mean by that? When I published my book through Penguin Books, I wrote the book, I sent a chapter to them, they looked at it, they said yes, they're interested in publishing it, and I signed a contract with them. On day 1 of signing that contract, I looked in my bank account and they had put a whole lot of money into my bank account. It was wonderful. Then they had to edit it. I paid nothing for that. Then they had to print it. I paid nothing. Then they got it into bookstores and distribution. I paid nothing. They got a nice cover designed. I paid nothing. So I got some money up front and I didn't have all these costs. What a great deal. At that stage, it's a great deal. But when the book started selling, I got about 10% of what the price was. Every book that sold, I got maybe a cappuccino, maybe half a cappuccino per book that was sold. They kept 90% of the profits. When I started the second book, or when I'd written the second book, I did self-publishing. I signed a contract with myself saying I'm going to now publish the book. And as I signed the contract for myself, I looked into my bank account. There was no money there, no extra money. And then when I got an editor involved, I had to pay the editor, minus. Then I need to get it printed. I had to pay the printers, minus. Then I need to get it in the bookstores, minus. Everything was money flowing out, nothing flowing in at this stage. And what that really means is, the one, I had no expenses really, and I got money up front, but very little after that. The second one, I now made most of the profits, or all of the profits. Instead of 10%, 100% of the profits, but I had to pay some money beforehand. And for me, those two things, although they're both books, are two different business models. I call the one book an employee and the other entrepreneur. The employee is guaranteed of a certain salary every single month, doesn't have to pay the expenses. The other one has to pay all the expenses and takes the risk of maybe not even selling one. And that's about a business. And we're going to talk about business owners and see if the two people we're going to talk to tonight relate to that. But we're going to get to them, and I'm going to introduce them after the break.
High FM, your station of choice since 2008.
I'm David Zeidel. You're listening to the ORT Jet Business Show. It is Thursday, the 13th of February, 2025. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Don't you love Valentine's Day? Don't you want to give the person you love some perfume? We've got just the person we're going to tell you about the perfume that she makes tonight. So I've said to you, tonight is about twins. We've actually got two guests sitting in who are going to join us in a joint conversation. The one person is the person who owns the business. The other person is the person who assisted them in getting the business up and running. So you've got 2 for 1 tonight. And besides that, the main guest, Miliswa, is a business owner that makes Millicent perfumes. And she herself is a twin. She told me she got a twin brother. And she was born in Cape Town. She studied electrical engineering. Her first few jobs were following what she did. She did installations and maintenance. And in 2018, she decided to start a company, but it remained dormant till 2022. We often have these great ideas, and then we kind of, it lays dormant in our mind for quite a while. And while she was studying a business course, she had to prepare a business plan, and she took that business plan and actually turned it into this business that she has today. She, as I said, it's along the lines of perfume, and we'll be told that a little bit more detail a little bit later on. But Miliswa actually went to the USA thinking, let me do something there. It sounds like the great city, the great apple, and go and, in our minds we think overseas is better. And 6 weeks later, she said, no, this is not for me, and came back home. And in 2022, in March of 2022, she started the business. She says what helps her in the business is that she's really a people's person and loves connecting with people. And networking is huge in doing the business. And sitting with her is Wesley Pillay. Wesley is a business development coach. He runs a compliance and development program to help businesses move from being self-employed to what he calls a real business. He says it's very important to get your business compliant in a way that you can do business with either government or other big businesses. There are rules and regulations and things that you have to have in place if you want to play with the big players. And he teaches people how to change that mindset and to do what you need to do so that you move from, as he says, being self-employed in your own business to being a business owner. So, Miliswa and Wesley, welcome to both of you.
Thank you, David, and good evening to the listeners. It's so nice to be on this radio station tonight.
Fantastic. And Wesley?
Thank you very much for having us, Dave, and thank you for the invitation. Happy to be here.
That's fantastic. And I must tell you that both of them are sitting in Cape Town, so I'm very jealous of them being in Cape Town. I'm sitting in Joburg. Miliswa, please just fill us in. How did the business start in your mind, and what were the steps that you took initially to get it going, and then how did you actually succeed in getting the business off the ground?
Thank you for that question. Am I audible?
You're audible.
Am I clear?
Very clear.
Okay. Yes. So it was first an idea, as you have said earlier, and the idea was took shape when I did the training, sales and marketing, and I produced the first product. And then I've always known that there is something that I have to create out of my life. I cannot just work, but I have to create something to produce something. And because I love perfumes, this is the channel, this is the direction that I followed because of the love of smelling good. And because I said I do love people, therefore I like to have people motivated and feeling good about themselves. So I saw a perfume as a product that would actually enhance their self-confidence and the person as a whole, to be able to be confident and productive as well as fully functional in the roles that they are playing on a daily basis. So then the first step obviously was then to get registered, as I did some years back. And then I looked for opportunities where I could be a business that is functioning on paper, not just something that is happening at, behind the scenes. I wanted to be recognized in order for me to be able to get the access that I need in order for this dream to grow and become a visible, not just a dream, but a visible entity that can be a benefit to society.
Great. So if you've just joined us, we're listening to Miliswa. And Miliswa, I purposely didn't give your surname because I don't want to butcher your surname. If you can just tell us, how do you pronounce your surname?
Ntumba.
Ntumba. Okay, fantastic. So Miliswa started a perfume business. So take us through initially, what were the steps, and were you successful in the beginning, or did you struggle a bit as you started?
It was actually in the production of the perfume itself it was not a difficult thing, but there were steps whereby once I had finalized the product, I had to take the product to the people. I took it on a small scale just to get feedback from them as to say, what I've created, is it something that you love? Is it accepted by the public? And so on. So that was the first step. And then I needed then to get the product certified through the local authorities, which is joining the government institutions like CEDA, for example.
Right. And then at what stage did you meet with Wesley, and in what way did he assist you?
So as a business person, we are always wanting to grow and are curious at available opportunities that are around us. So I did see an application online, and I applied. And thankfully, I was invited to an interview where I met Wesley for the first time, an interview at ORT SA for the compliance development program. And I was fortunate to be enrolled and to start. So that's what I was involved in last year. I got the opportunity to take part in that compliance development program.
Fantastic.
Offered by ORT SA.
So through ORT, and those of you not sure of what ORT and ORT Jet is, we help small businesses grow, but also we give them mentors and people to help mentor them. And if you want to join the program, you can just go and have a look on the ORT website. It's www.ortjet.org.za. And even if you want to give back, if you want to be a mentor, you can join. And one of those mentors is Wesley. So Wesley, if you can maybe tell us a little bit around the program, and in what way specifically did you assist Miliswa to develop her business?
I think that's an excellent question. Our program that we offer is, in my personal opinion, unlike any that I've seen in the market at the moment. And I think that's because we offer a program that has a balanced approach where we handhold, but at the same time, we hold businesses accountable. And I think, sometimes the handholding can allow businesses to become very reliant on either a program or their mentor. And if you hold them accountable too much, then you're not really providing any sort of, service or offering as part of providing knowledge or, communicating some form of wealth in the form of business knowledge. So we have a very balanced approach in the manner in which we run our program. So our program at ORT SA, which has been sponsored by Astron Energy, allowed us to move the program to the Western Cape in 2024. During that time, we looked for businesses that were emerging diamonds. We looked for businesses that already had a great idea, really needed a boost in the direction of perseverance, consistency, discipline, and very much so self-confidence. But more than just that, what we learned about the businesses, including Miliswa's business, is that a large percentage of the businesses, especially small businesses, they become entrepreneurs, not because the original idea is to start a company, but the original idea is to create an income in their household. And that's obviously due to the employment situation that we have in South Africa. What we want to do with our program is, so to speak, say that now that you've created a business of your own, how about contributing to providing a solution to the employment problem that we have in South Africa by building a business that is sustainable and also allowing us to help you scale that business so that you can create employment opportunities and be a part of the solution. We do that through assisting these businesses with their compliance, which is extremely important because paperwork is above all the Bible in this instance. And it is very, very important for businesses to understand that without paperwork, you really, truly can't get into, the larger leagues and trying to deal with companies who could potentially offer you work on retainer, which is what they want. Secondly, we provided these businesses with business development skills. So a lot of the entrepreneurs understand a trade. They have a skill set. They know how to, in Miliswa's personal journey, I can say that her most amazing skill is people, but she needed a lot of assistance with operations. She needed to understand financial management. She needed to understand what are the key elements to running an organization rather than just being a self-employed individual. And we provide this in the form of training. And then we also provide coaching sessions where we get an opportunity to engage with the businesses on a one-on-one level. It's a little bit more personal. We get to ask, very personal questions. It becomes sort of a impromptu therapy session, I think, on behalf of both of us. But it's very beautiful, and it creates an opportunity to build trust between the brand at ORT SA and the businesses that we work with. And we are there to push them, to create opportunities where we can, and above all, to provide them with the knowledge that they need from a corporate entity so that they can understand how to move their business out of that trade industry and more into an industry where they can slowly start building a small business, creating employment opportunities, and potentially maybe even scaling to a level where they can franchise their organization.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, Miliswa, just take us through where you're at the moment. So tell us about the business. What do? You actually create the perfume yourself. You manufacture the perfume yourself. And then take us through your business model. How do you sell it? Who do you sell it to? And anything that you think can help other little businesses or bigger businesses understand what they should be doing.
Okay, thank you. So before I joined ORT SA, just to back up a little bit, they assisted me with a lot, as Wesley said, and understanding even my model, my business model. I came in as a B2C, business to customer, and then together with the mentor, I was assisted to be able to be a B2B. So my model is a reseller, to sell to resellers, to get others to sell, as I am a manufacturer. then they will buy from me at a discounted price and move with the product. So that is my model at the moment, as well as e-commerce, where I sell the products online on my website. So this is where ORT SA has assisted me to grow in terms of my revenue. So Wesley rightfully said that we had mentorship sessions where we looked at things critically and saw what needed to be done, in order for me to grow from the level that I was at. So now my paperwork is in order. I'm able to work B2B with other businesses.
Great.
Compliance side, I'm compliant. I understand financial management, which was a big issue for me in the beginning. So now my finances are in order. Actually, I've just completed my financials at the moment for my business. So transacting from the business, separating your personal finances to your businesses. Those are the main things that I've learned, which are quite critical for a business.
So it's amazing, because if you didn't have everything compliant, you might not have been able to sell to those other businesses. So when you do that, it gives you another avenue to sell in another model, so that you could have a lot of resellers. And what is your case at the moment with that? How are you coping in terms of that? Have you got lots of businesses who are buying from you? Are you selling mostly to businesses or mostly to individuals?
It's a bit of both. I'm focusing on the resellers rather than the one-on-one sales. The one-on-one sales, the business to customer will always be there. But what I'm pushing mostly is business to business at a recommended retail price, which is what the business to customers would be paying. So I am growing in the level of the business to business, because that makes sense. That makes more sense. It's better to manage.
That's fantastic.
And it's more structured.
And Wesley, when you look at businesses similar to this, do you find some people who can't make that transition, or does everybody manage to learn from it and transition?
It's a difficult question. And the truth is, it is a case-by-case scenario. I think, a lot of individuals, especially entrepreneurs who have, experienced putting in the blood, sweat, and tears of the hard labor, when it's time for them to get a mentor, to get someone to, go through their business with a fine-tooth comb, or maybe as one of my mentors likes to say, go through your business with a scalpel, is where we identify and we see where businesses needs to be mended. Sometimes the feedback can be a little bit brutal, and unfortunately, the criticism is intended to be constructive, because the goal is we want your success. You've got to remember that ORT SA is a non-profit organization, and we don't, there's no other benefit for us other than to see the youth of South Africa and the communities of South Africa developed through enterprise development, and we want that success. So your success is our success. So we've had a couple of issues. I won't say issues. I'd rather use the word challenges, which we've managed to overcome, where we've had individuals who specifically around employment, where they would say things like, we employ these people and we train them, and the moment we train them, they leave us to go work for someone else where they can get a better salary, and we can't pay them that salary at the moment because our business is still growing. And what's the point of us continuously training these people if they're going to just leave us at the end of the day? I might as well just do everything myself. And
so, Wesley, would you mind if I stop you there, because we need to go for an ad break?
Sure.
And when we come back, we're going to pick up on this conversation. I'm David Zeidel. I'm talking to Miliswa, and we're talking about Millicent perfumes.
High FM, your station of choice since 2008.
Good evening. I'm David Zeidel. You're listening to the ORT Jet Business Show. We're speaking to Miliswa Ntumba. Did I get that right?
You got that correct.
Did I get that right? Say that again?
Yes.
Ntumba.
Ntumba.
Ntumba. But the interesting thing about your name is that the last 3 letters of your name spells MBA. And I think this is an MBA that you're giving us in business. So please take us through your business. What are the products that you sell? Who you're selling it to? What did you struggle with initially in first producing and then in selling it? And I liked what you said a little bit earlier, that you made it and then tested the market. Rather than just making a whole lot and trying to sell, you made it and then tested the market. So just take us through that whole process of doing that. And were you certain it was going to succeed? Did you have doubts? Just take us through the mind of an entrepreneur.
Okay, so I think for me, it was not a matter of wanting to see success immediately, but it was rather a journey that I was willing to take, okay, because of the purpose. In this instance, I know that when the products are loved, my hope is to give it as a reseller, in this case, to those that can make income out of it. There's actually a lot of people that are wanting, and those that are reselling are being empowered by reselling my products. And on a daily basis, I kid you not, because I'm a people's person, it's like I am preaching this business and people just fall in love with it.
So your purpose, sorry if I interrupt you there a second. So your purpose wasn't only to make the perfume, it was to give others an opportunity for themselves to make a living. Is that right?
That is 100% right. So while they are reselling the products on my behalf, I am focusing on the manufacturing side where I can perfect and grow the products. So the products that I have as Miliswa are the perfumes, which is the masculine sense and the feminine sense and the unisex sense, that are complemented by the body lotions, which are also fragranced, as well as aftershave, which is produced from essential oils, going the natural way of producing products. So at the moment, that is what Miliswa offers.
So similar to the story I gave in the beginning with the Dollar Shave Club, you started with one product and now you're expanding to a number of different products. Do you have do the same people buy from you, or do you just give it to your resellers and you're not sure who they're selling it to?
I definitely do have people that are returning. Those were the business to customer, those ones that loved the product from the beginning. They keep on coming back, as well as the resellers who are selling to those that do not, don't necessarily know. However, because we have a website, we do require people to give testimonials. So there has to be a way to connect to the users and not just forget about the product that you are sending out through the reseller program. Because we've been taught about brand awareness, about corporate identity. There is an identity, even though I'm not the one that is selling the products.
So as a free plug, I'm asking you and the people listening in, they can take down the website address if they want to, but you're just telling me personally. What is your website address?
My website address is www.milisaint.co.za.
Great. So we this is not a free advert, but if people happen to think, wow, this is great, that is fantastic. So it's www.milisaint, and that's MILI, and then the word saint, SAINT.co.za, and you can check out as long as you're not in your car at the moment, you can go and check it out, and you can have a look at the products that are there while you're talking to Miliswa. So,
and David,
yes,
David, Millicent says, "Let your scent introduce you." That's our tagline.
Wow, love that. Wow. Yeah, some of us have a problem that it pushes people away, so that's where they need your product even more than that. So you started off just with the perfumes, and then you expanded into other things. The story that I gave a little bit earlier of the $1 Shave Club, do you think that makes sense to your business in any way, or could you follow that kind of logic of it being a subscription business, or do you think not?
You know, when you gave the story, you said something at the end, and I meant to write it down, but I didn't write it down. The fact that there was something that was dominant and that was like having majority of the market, 70% for such a long time, and yet something small that was undetected suddenly within a small amount of time was able to take the market. So I identified with that, actually. I grabbed that for myself. That is actually is possible. It is quite possible.
And do you, in your business now, do you have set targets and things that you're aiming to achieve? Do you know what your target is in terms of sales for, let's say, for this year in the different products? Or is it, if it related to your business, is it just a spray and pray?
No, there is actually, I've got 5-year projection of financials that I'm actively pursuing, not 3 years. It moved from 3 years to 5 years.
Great.
So I must also add, I don't know if I can add this, Wesley,
yes,
that with ORT SA, they were able, because we were compliant, they were able to assist us. It wasn't actually necessary for them to do that, but ORT SA went the extra mile and gave us what we needed to further enable us to realize, the financial projections that I can, that I've boldly set out there for my business. So ORT SA did not only enable us in terms of the educational side, but they went further. I'm not going to go much into that, but there's something that they did further, which is also an addition and an accelerator in our business practices.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So I'm grateful for that.
That's brilliant. And guys, you're listening to us on the radio, and I'm on a Zoom link to them, and I can see Wesley smiling in the background. It's like watching a flower blooming. Would you agree with that, Wesley?
Absolutely. I think for me, the proudest moment, was remembering where we were when we started at the beginning of last year and how we had set ourselves, targets. And I had made a comment to all the businesses by telling them that I want you to set goals for yourself for 2024. But I also want you to think about the fact that your goal needs to be realistic. You've got a business coach, you've got a mentorship program, and that's amazing, and it's going to make a huge difference. But that doesn't mean that, we're going to conquer Troy in the space of a day. You do need to set realistic goals that could be achieved in the space of 10 to 11 months. And I think, personally speaking, almost entirely all of the businesses that were part of our program met those goals, surpassed those goals, exceeded those goals. It was very beautiful to see.
And what you're saying there is to understand, and that saying comes to mind: Rome wasn't built in a day. But if you don't have your goals that you set, Rome wasn't built in a day, but you might roam forever, because you need to know where you're heading to and where you're going to. And I'm absolutely amazed to hear that you got a 5-year projection, because especially in a small business, the hardest thing is to see tomorrow, never mind a year ahead, never mind 5 years ahead. And I've spoken to a few people on this program, and they say most businesses will not have an annual plan ahead. So to have a goal and where you want to get to in 5 years is fantastic. And so really, I think that's kudos to you and to Wesley, that you're building a business, that you're building the projections, and you're going ahead. But if I look at what we've said so far, you have to create a product. You have to have a passion for that. Your passion might be greater than just the product itself. It might be that you're giving employment to others. There's another why. And I've spoken to this on other programs. You need to have that why, and that why needs to sit with you. Then you got to learn, and you got to grow through that learning. And sometimes it's being handheld, as we've said. And they say you can see a lot further when you stand on the shoulders of giants. And standing on the shoulders of giants are having a mentor. And the hardest thing is to find a mentor. But I think through the ORT program, you actually are given a mentor. And some of those help you, some of them are mentors, and some of them are tormentors. But even the tormentor helps you get you onto the right track. What is your final kind of message around your business looking back? How long have you been going now?
Financially, this is my second financial year.
Great. Second financial year. And what would have you told yourself at the beginning that you know now about your business 2 years on? What is there anything you can think of that you say, I wish I told myself that before, or I wish I knew that when I started the business?
I think in the beginning there was a lot of fear and doubt, simply because one was used to having a salary. So although I was in the business, I was trying a lot of things that could bring me money, and I was not really focused on the business. Had I been focused head on from that time, I know that I could have been far by now, but it was just that fear of not earning the same amount of money that one was earning. This is what everyone is afraid of. That's why people do hold on to jobs and not actually go for what they know that they love and they have a passion to do, the comfort. But now I've learned a lot about financial management and living, and whatever the income that is, living from it, being so financially wise and not having a problem, whether it's 100,000 or whether it's 20,000. So if you really want to be a game changer, it's not going to be easy. The comfort must fall off, and then focus on what you're doing, on your enterprise, and be that business owner that will make a difference in your society. Wow. Or the world.
That's fantastic. And I think that's a great place to end this, or a great spot to end this, because it actually links back to the story in the beginning, and about having a plan and changing the marketplace that you're in. So, Miliswa, Ntumba, and Wesley Pillay, thank you so much to both of you for sharing your story, and Wesley, especially to you for creating another entrepreneur that will create a greater South Africa. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David and ORT SA.
And ORT SA. And I'm David Zeidel, and this has been the ORT Jet Business Show, and we'll see you next week, 6 p.m.